there we are, 3, 2, 1, and we are live. Hi, everybody. Hi, Anthony.
And not only are we live, we are alive. And that's a very big thing these days.
Yeah, life is not boring, but we are alive. Thank you for sharing that video that we did last week, so far and wide. There's been a lot of comments on it, and I think a lot of people have said to me that they have really benefited from it, and I think to you too. So if anybody is going through some trauma, you haven't watched it, it's in the thread. It's under videos, so please go ahead and go watch it and share it to people who really need it, because we've got such dumbbells ideas on how to handle trauma, and it's not because we're stupid. It's just because this is the way that it's always been done. It is just the way that's been handed on to us, and it doesn't work. And there are way better ways for us to handle our trauma intelligently and mindfully and willingly and get through it. Because I don't want to talk about trauma tonight. We'll talk more about it. So anybody has questions, just please go and post, and we'll get back to your questions. So tonight we are going to talk about relationships, because I see a lot of relationships being in trouble, and I see a lot of people really struggling with relationships, and I think there are certain COVID-related issues, because COVID itself is a trauma, and traumas always bring out the worst in us and the best in us, and how we handle it and how we get through it as a couple is going to determine how strong we end up on the other side. But I also want to stress that I'm not just talking, when I say relationships, I'm not only talking about intimate relationships. I'm really talking about all relationships, because we can handle all of them in the same way, whether it's your family or your friends or at work. All the principles that we talk about applies to everything else in your life. And once you start applying these in the relationship closest to you, and you start practicing it in the rest of your world, you become part of the solution that the world needs, of people who knows how to adult. And that's our real topic for tonight, how to adult. And so this is a surprising topic, I think, because we all think when we are adults, we know how to adult. It isn't a bit a surprising topic, Antoinette?
Yes, so I think you need to explain what you mean, because people are probably going, but I am an adult,
Yeah. It is interesting, but you know what? Especially when I do counseling, everybody who's done counseling with me knows there's a time when I ask, are you an adult? And it's surprising how few people feel like they are adults. But then I actually have to ask, how old are you? What does your driver's license say? What does your ID say? You've got a job. You're in relationships. You've got children. You're supposed to be an adult. Do you feel like an adult? And a lot of people don't, because we are not self-empowered. So we don't understand what it means to be an adult. And once we learn how to be adults, and we can manage to get two adults together in the same room, in a relationship, in a workspace, then we actually make progress. We are not stuck in the hamster wheel of destruction anymore, or the hamster wheel that goes nowhere except back to the starting point, but we start to make progress. So let's talk about adulting. Right. Okay. All right, so the very first thing is that you have to take responsibility for yourself. There is no such thing as somebody else must fix me. There is no such thing as somebody else must do all the work. Now, the way it plays out in the relationships is it's the pattern. If you sit still and you maybe make notes and then go and see which ones of these applies to your relationship, and to your patterns, then you are going to become aware that you are part of the problem, and you can become part of the solution. So the habitual way in which we don't take responsibility for our circumstances, our happiness, the health of our relationship, is because we don't speak. So we don't use our voice. We just don't speak. We can do it for a variety of reasons. Some people that I know like to do all the work themselves and only think that if I work harder and I work harder and I work harder, I will fix the relationship. Okay, guilty as charged. I've done that for many years. It doesn't work. Yeah. Okay. Let's ask our viewers there. Let's see there. Give us some thumbs up if you have been one of those who has been taking all the responsibility and just think, if I just try harder, if I'm just doing better, if I just try a little bit harder to change my partner, I will try harder to change my partner, then we'll be happy. So let's see who's taken that responsibility. That will be nice to know. But like I say, guilty as charged, and it doesn't work. It never works. So we have to use our voice. We have to learn how to speak. We have to learn how to say, I need this. This is not working for me. And we have to do it in a way in which somebody else can hear us and which we don't blame or judge. At the same time, we have to listen. Now, if you are inside an uneven relationship in which the other person does not take responsibility to speak or to work on the relationship, and you are a doer fixer, you're going to decide to do it for them. Right? It's not going to work because you can't. But we can sit in this pattern for a long, long, long time. And we can repeat this in our families. Yes, we know our family, so we decide for them. You're going to like it, you're not going to like it. I'm going to do this thing that's going to please you because you don't have to ask for it. So I will just do it. And I'm going to ask you to do a bit of mind reading so that you can fix me too. And if you don't, I'm going to go into silent treatment or passive aggressiveness. And I'm just going to hope and wish that you actually know how I would love to be treated, because my mind says, you should know. No, you should not know, I should say. And right there, this little bit here is where most of our problems start. We don't speak, and we expect that other people must know what we want, and we don't adult. We don't take responsibility for our part, and we take responsibility for the other person's part. Right there. That's not adulting. That's fixing. That's hoping. That's wishing. It's not adulting. More. Okay. Anybody? Any comments there, Antoinette?
I can't see the comments. You can, but I have a question. What happens if the person you're trying to adult with will not engage? That happened with a family member of mine, and yeah. What happens if you speak up and you do it in the right way, but the other person just will not? Is that the time to exit, or do you just accept it? Or
okay, first of all, I don't like people just exiting, because that relationship that you are in, if you are in a relationship that's not working, you are doing something wrong. Okay, so whether it is staying too long or choosing badly or not speaking in the correct way, you're doing something wrong, and you have to figure out what it is. And there's no two solutions that are the same for everybody. But I always say, when you start working on yourself, stay in the same relationship for at least 6 months to 2 years, if there is no violence involved, because you need to learn you need to learn, and it's best to learn in the relationship that you are. Otherwise, you're going to repeat the mistakes that you're making right now. But to answer you more directly, if you are in a relationship with somebody that doesn't talk, then step back a little bit and go ask yourself, why am I? Why am I? Because something happened before you ended up in this situation. Did this person get silenced by you because you're always critical? Start with that question. Did that person stop talking because you never give that person a chance? Did that person feel judged? Are you contributing that by to the situation by being judgmental or correcting the other person or finding fault or always wanting to improve and never being happy? Start with that one always. So if that person didn't start out that way, then look at yourself. Go back right to the beginning. If you in the beginning were attracted to somebody who doesn't speak, ask yourself why. And there are several answers. Maybe you like it if somebody doesn't speak. Maybe you saw a project and you thought, ooh, lovely broken project. Let me go in and fix you because I'm a fixer. That happens surprisingly often, and then we are hooked because we get such a high from fixing somebody else. It gives us a purpose, it takes our attention away from ourselves. We enjoy fixing other people if we are fixers. And there are a surprising amount of fixers around us. Hello, hands up. So if that's where you start, you ask yourself, why am I in a relationship? Did I contribute? Or did I like this person this way? If you liked the person this way, you have to now ask yourself, why do I want to change this person? Okay, that's the first. Maybe this person is just an introvert and quiet. And maybe you did silence that person. And it's time to apologize and step back and let that person have an opinion. So start there. The other side of it is that if you are in a relationship, even if you're part of a problem and you contributed to the person not talking, by the time when you learn how to be mindful and aware of your own patterns and you start changing it, you have to reach out and you have to stretch. So you have to stretch yourself. If you've been actually actively silencing somebody or criticizing somebody, you have to stretch and you have to own up to your mistakes. And this is something that's huge. This is how we adult. We own up to our own mistakes. It doesn't make you wrong, it makes you responsible. And adults are responsible. Adults take ownership of their mistakes and they tell the other person, I'm sorry, I've been wrong. I've been criticizing, I've been judgmental. I did not accept you as you are, because that's what it means. To criticize somebody else and to be judgmental is to not accept somebody else the way they are. And again, that's wishful thinking. Maya Angelou says, people tell you who they are. Believe them. We don't. We don't want to believe them. We want to fix them. We want to change them. We want them the way we want them. But this is a really important question to ask for yourself. If you don't feel 100% loved and accepted by the other person, how do you feel about it? Is that good enough for you? Do you want to be criticized? Do you want to be corrected? Do you want to be changed? Or do you just want to be accepted 100%? And we miss that part. We miss that part completely and totally, overlook it, and we forget. We forget that we got into a relationship liking each other, accepting each other, feeling liked, loved, and accepted. And somewhere along the line, something started changing. And then one day you look back and you suddenly realize there's a mess. I don't quite know where it started. And you have to then backtrack and then become aware of your patterns. Because otherwise you're focusing again on the other person. You're not watching what you are contributing. You will not be in a bad relationship if you are not contributing. That's full stop. You may look like the innocent and good person here, but you are contributing. If you're always doing the right thing and you're supporting somebody who's obviously, let's say, not contributing in a positive way, maybe an addict or an abusive person, or somebody who is not faithful or doesn't ever speak nicely to you, you have to ask yourself, what am I contributing? First of all, I chose this person. Secondly, I allowed it. Thirdly, did I actively contribute to this pattern? Even when somebody is obviously, let's call it guilty, but it's not guilty because there's never just one person guilty. It's always two people. What am I contributing? Okay, so does that answer that question, Antoinette? Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, very well, and that was invaluable. Thank you, Louise.
Let's look. I think a lot of us are, this is unfortunately a lot of relationships, the codependent kind. You're going to be attracted to somebody who fills up a part of you that's missing. You're going to be, a fixer is going to be attracted to somebody that wants fixing, that accepts fixing, and the other way around. So, but it will stop working because eventually the fixer will get fed up of fixing. And eventually the person being fixed will get fed up of being fixed. Doesn't work. Just doesn't work. We just have to be very aware. Those are the two main patterns. If we are adults, I'm nobody's project. Repeat that after me, everybody. I am nobody's project. I'm my own responsibility. It's my job to say, I don't like this. Please, can you not do that again? Or this is important to me, and can you respect that? Or listen to the other person when they don't like something you do. Listen, don't be defensive. Don't be defensive. And that's the next way. How to be an adult. Don't be defensive. Just stop being defensive. You cannot hear what they are saying if you're defensive because you've made that excuse, justification, reason why you're innocent before they finish speaking. You don't hear people when you are being innocent. You don't hear people when you're being defensive, and then you end up in the most frustrating relationship, which is near impossible to fix. One in which two people don't listen to each other. And it's easy to fix. Start listening. Don't talk. Start listening.
That's really brilliant advice, Louise. I'd like to make an observation and see what you think of it. So some adult children, I'm an adult child in recovery, and I have had lots of relationships. So I didn't choose one relationship and stay in it. I've had many. And my observation of myself is whoever came towards me to love me, I chose. And it's quite a deep realization that, and some people have been in marriages a very long time, so I can't speak for them. But for me, I think whoever came towards me and really, really loved me and adored me was who I allowed into my life, and then it all, became problematic at some stage.
Yes, this is why it's so important that I stress you have to go back to the beginning. You have to ask yourself, who did I choose and why? Because you chose somebody not based on how whole you were, but based on the whole inside you. The H-O-L-E whole, not the W-H-O-L-E, which you're supposed to be. Yeah. And then invariably life teaches us lessons. We become more whole, W-H-O-L-E. And especially women have a bit of a no-go zone as soon as they become mothers, because then they go like, what? A lot of women start maturing emotionally very, very fast when they have children because they've got these responsibilities. The mothering instinct kicks in. They just become more responsible, but they also start seeing some of their patterns in their behavior towards their children. And parents want to do better for their children. That's universal. Whether they manage to or not, that's another story. But people have got that instinct to do better for their children. And women just have more emotional language, and therefore we tend to be more investigative and actually start looking for solutions much sooner and I am generalizing. I do know that I am generalizing. It's not everybody. There are women who will do anything under the sun not to feel a feeling and will look for ways to escape, whether it's new makeup or a job or another relationship or whatever it is. It happens across, but generally women will have more emotional language, be more nurturing, and through having children learn that there are certain things that they have to start changing. And that's why I think why there are more women looking for counseling and help and more readily willing to work on themselves. And then, of course, we've got the generational problem, which is of men, man up, don't feel, and just go out and provide, and that makes you a good man. So when we put these two together, we end up with a stereotype. And, if we as a society wants to carry on, we have to break the stereotype of I will feel and you will provide, because it doesn't work like that anymore. We've got women working and providing, and we've got women being much more aware and wanting feelings and connection from their partners. They may not always know how to say it. They may resort to silent treatment or emotional blackmail, but it's a deep need inside us, all of us, to be nurtured. It's just that women will more readily display the need because it's not frowned upon by society for women to display the need to be nurtured. So we've got to break down the stereotypes, and that, we've got to encourage men to also start recognizing that they have got the same needs. And I know they've got the same needs because I've been facilitating men's groups. And they are also marshmallow inside. They're just the same as women. They also have marshmallow inside. We're all like that. Their defense mechanisms are just much stronger. It's not that they can't get there. It's just that society have not primed them to get there. So we really sit with a tough situation where society wants one thing of men. Luckily it's changing, but the way that most men have grown up is not conducive to having a nice connected relationship. So nobody gets what they really need in the end, which is to form community. And community is one of our most basic human needs, to form community. And we start with what's nearest to us, and then our street, and then our neighborhood, and then our country. And, so it's a natural tendency of all human beings. We can't get away with it. We are built for connection. We can't escape it. So the sooner we realize that a lot that goes on in our lives are because of that need for connection and not getting the need for connection met, then the sooner we can start asking for the right thing. Because if you don't ask for the right thing very specifically, you're not going to get it. If you say, and that's another way how to adult, be very specific for what you need. Don't hint. I like it when you speak kindly to me. And how can you do it? If I don't need you to fix my problems. I just want you to allow me to have an opinion and to just say I had a bad day. You don't have to fix me. I just want to be able to say it. I don't want you to correct me. I don't want you to say to me, "Oh no, man, it wasn't so bad. You know what?" I just want you to say, "It's okay. Come sit here by me and I'm going to give you a hug." That's nurturing. That's accepting my feelings. That is giving me a place to be me and to validate how I am feeling today. How small is that? But how many people want that?
It's not a thing we give each other,
yeah. Just that, not fixing. Allow somebody to have their wants, their needs, their opinions.
And I think men are wired to fix, so it's not so easy for them to not try and fix.
Yeah, they are. If you actually have to train men to say, "Look, I don't need you to fix this for me. I just need you to hear me. This is how I'm feeling today, and give me a hug. That's all I need. Thank you." Very specific. You have to be specific. There's no such thing as mind reading. unless you want to go join the circus. And relationships is not a circus, please. Just speak. Speak nicely. Don't wish. Let's see if we have any questions.
Louise, I just want to say, while you're looking for that, one of the most valuable things you brought to me at the ripe old age of 56, like everybody should know this, but they don't, is that in our relationships, all of them, we're allowed to speak our truth with love. And you've just said that. But the other thing you added to that was, and to draw boundaries with consequences. Yeah, the first time I had to do that was the hardest thing I've ever done in my whole life, because I
think we should talk about boundaries as a separate subject, because boundaries are so important. People just don't have a no. It's so big that maybe we talk about it soon if people want us to talk about it. But again, it's adulting. You are in charge of drawing a boundary and having a consequence. But Antoinette, you touch on something else which is really important, and that is speaking your truth. Telling you, in group facilitation, I don't know how many people have said to me when I say, say how you feel, tell the person how you feel. I feel he's an arsehole. No, that's not speaking your truth. We don't know how to speak our truth. That is our problem. If your truth is to judge somebody else, and your truth is to think that you are righteous, you haven't got it yet. You're missing the point. Your truth is, it's like this. Maybe I took this personally because I'm still hurt and wounded inside myself, and I'm working on myself in order to not take things personally. And maybe you didn't mean it like that. But I experienced that as mean. I experienced that as hurtful. So please tell me, did you intend to be mean? Or is it my own hurts that are speaking now? Yeah, that's a great way not to blame somebody, but to be really speaking your truth. This is how I felt. I'm not making it your experience. I'm not telling you, you did this to me. I'm telling you, and I'm asking you, and I'm going to shut up. I'm going to shut up and let the other person answer, because we don't do that either. Speaking your truth doesn't mean I feel he's an arsehole. Really? It means speaking your truth is where you're willing to speak about what's hurtful to you, taking full responsibility. Did you notice I took full responsibility? And you check with somebody else. And because we could be very easily just from our wounded spaces, we could very easily assume, we could very easily read meaning where there was no meaning. And when somebody says, I honestly didn't realize it, we also have not to decide for it. No, you meant it. That's not respectful. That's not a respectful relationship. It's like, oh, okay, thank you. And I'm sorry I overreacted here. You are now aware that that is a pain point for me. So maybe next time you can try and phrase it differently. And I will appreciate that. Full responsibility, not blaming, lovely adult conversation. And it had a boundary in. Did you notice? It had a boundary in. Please, next time, don't do it because. And when you speak like this, you don't have to put a consequence because you're speaking in a loving, respectful way. When somebody don't honor you, when somebody don't respect you, when somebody doesn't listen to you, allow your voice, that's a whole different story. That's when you actually have to put the boundaries in, or the consequences in, and stick to them. But it's such a big topic. Let's not go boundaries tonight.
Well said, Louise.
Okay, let's see. Right.
You make it sound so easy.
Oh, what's that? I'm in the wrong place. That's not comments.
Oh dear. Well, it's good.
Commenting. Oh.
No one's commented. No, come on.
Nobody's commenting. Hello, say hi, people. What did I do there? Let me go to get rid of that.
Man. Must be some comments. That's so bizarre.
Is that I don't know where that came from. Oh, okay, that's gone. Oh, I hope we are live. Somebody's going to have to tell us that we are indeed live.
Oh, no, we are live. I can see we've been live for 30 minutes and 34 seconds.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, hopefully somebody's going to say hi to us just now. And if there's any questions, I think we are more or less at the end of this anyways. Anthony, do you have any questions or any remarks or any experience
Oh,
in this?
Louise, I just want to say that was absolutely brilliant, well articulated, very helpful for me. So I'm sure for many. You were brilliant. Thank you. I so needed that, and I'm sure zillions of people do. So even if there's no one here live, we will share it because this is invaluable.
I'm missing our audience. I love our audience.
No, it's so weird. And we must ask a few people because 8 people on my group said they were coming. So I don't know where they all are.
Yeah, well, we'll go back in. We'll go look at the comments, and yeah, it's true what you say, Anthony. You know what? People just don't know this stuff. Really, honestly, people don't know this, and it is once you actually become aware, and you change tiny little bit. This is baby steps. You can change this in baby steps, one little thing at a time, and sit back in amazement because it actually works, and it brings you eventually to the place where you have peace and contentment, and you can make decisions from a way better place. Okay, wait, while we've got no comments, let me just quickly see if I can find this. I always have my book open next to me.
We should be teaching this in school, really, so that people go into relationships equipped with this.
Yeah, we actually should. I've actually, on the reviews on my book, I've got quite a few reviews that said this should be taught in school. And I agree with it. You know, if you don't want to carry on this way and carry on this way and carry on this way until eventually all your relationships have fallen apart. I'm looking for the hamster wheel. I normally have him marked. But I've got a chapter in here that shows us exactly the kind, let me see if I can manage this, the kind of destructive behavior that we get into. And that's like, this is how the hamster wheel starts. And this is how we keep on going back. And so if you are in a relationship and you're impatient to fix it, then get my book and start at that particular chapter, how when the hamster wheel stops working. Start there and go read through it read through it with your partner, because you are going to find yourself in there, and you're going to have gigantic aha moments. And I also want to, if you are in a troubling relationship, I want to encourage you to go back and to listen to this again and make notes. And if you watch it with a partner and discuss it afterwards, that is going to be immensely valuable to you. So
this was an invaluable, very expensive free coaching session, everybody. So share it. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. And look, Anthony, the thing that's extra when I do coaching is when I do coaching or counseling and I help people through difficult relationships. A lot of people don't know their adult children, but it shows in the relationships. That's why I do a lot of relationship coaching, because I help people to become adults and take care of themselves. And what I do is I always say, bring me your conversations. I want the he said, she said, whatever kind of relationship you are in. I want those conversations. When you bring me the conversations, what am I going to do? I'm going to show you how you can change your communication. I'm going to say, go tell the other person who's doing this or that wrong. I'm going to say, okay, here is where you can improve your speech. This is where this is what you're doing. There's a lot of people who have bigger hearts about what it is that they are contributing before we even look at what the other person does. And that is amazing. That is self-empowerment. That is adulting. You want to be an adult, you need to see what you are contributing, and you can change what you are contributing. You can't change what the other person is contributing, but when you change, you're going to see a change in the other person. And it happens, and it's amazing, and it's wonderful. So I want to encourage everybody to go this road and to actually really try this. Antoinette, this worries me that there are no comments. We always have comments.
No, it's very, there's something's not right, I don't think, because we've never, ever not had a comment, ever.
No. But there's a heart. No, wait. Somebody left a heart, so there's somebody watching.
Oh, maybe people are still coming to grips with what you said. It was quite profound.
Hi, Shelley. Thanks for the heart. Now at least I know there's somebody watching. Okay, we like lots of hearts and lots of thumbs up. Okay. Okay, so Antoinette, I'm quickly just going to just add this in here. So I have been putting up my series, putting off my series of masterclasses since the end of our Adult Child Summit, because, and then these riots happened, and then my head stopped working, and because I didn't want to rush it, and I wanted to give enough people the chance to actually sign up for it. And so then I just kept on putting it off because there was nothing working up here after this shock and lack of sleep over these riot times. So I am putting them on, and I've got 3 topics, and it's interesting because it ties in a lot with what we are talking about tonight. So the first one is shame, and shame is there for a reason, because shame stops us from getting help. When we are full of shame, we don't ask for help. We are so scared of showing our insides to a counselor, to any other human being. We are so scared of being judged. And once we learn that we're not going to be judged, we're going to be supported, we can start blossoming. So it's the most amazing thing. I really, really, if anybody's struggling to ask for help, please start with the shame one. That's why I'm doing the shame one, so that people can actually start to get help, real help. Then the second one is about why we don't want you to leave a relationship that you are in, even if it's sucky. Right. And a lot of what I've talked about tonight is the stuff that I want to go through in more depth. But then these master classes are live Zoom meetings, and you get to ask questions. You can type your questions, you can ask them. You actually get to ask questions, and I want people who come to bring me examples. You're going to get free coaching. Well, it's not free, it's $17. So that's pretty down near to free. So I want you to bring your questions, because you're going to learn a lot from it. And so you can bring me your real life experiences. And then number 3, it's about communication. And it's exactly this thing that I said just now. When I start doing one-on-one work with people, I help you to identify your patterns. Bring your conversations, bring the way that you normally talk. There's not going to be judgment. There's just going to be help, peer help. You're going to be helped, but everybody else is going to be helped. And it is it is a small and intimate platform. And I want to have enough time for everybody to actually get real help. So I'm very passionate about this. I want to do a lot more of these. So I'll send out an email tomorrow if my website is working. And then, because it's not today, that's why I didn't send it today. And so I will send out an email, and I want you guys to look out for it. And please share it if you know of people who have these particular problems. Feeling shame, and sometimes we don't even know about it. And sucky relationships and unhealthy communication patterns. And those are the ones in which you don't feel heard. Okay, anything else from you, Antoinette?
No, I think that was amazing, really amazing. Thank you. Extremely valuable. Thank you so much.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much for coming. You know, I love these things. There we are. There's our song. So, still no comments, but there are more hearts. Thank you guys for making. I don't know why nobody's saying anything, but at least we're getting some hearts and likes here. So keep on giving them. You can please post for us whatever you want in the comments, any questions. We're going to come back, and the replay is available. And then next week, we'll see what we do next week. We don't plan anything, right? We'll fall into it.
Okay, Louise. Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Thank you all for coming. Bye-bye.